Hey everyone, it's Ethan Ormis back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another CDL predictions video, and I'm super pumped for this week. We finally have our actual real competitive play back. The kickoff was, of course, just a taste of what's about to come, and I am super excited. You can see we're only an hour away, obviously a bit late on the episode of predictions, but that's okay. Nonetheless, let's hop right into it. I'm super pumped for some of the matches this weekend, so let's go through them. Florida and London to start things off. A very interesting series. London was pretty underwhelming. I was expecting much higher things from London at the kickoff event, so I'm expecting a bit of a bounce back here from them, but Florida had such a strong start at the kickoff. I really think Florida can win this series once again, but I do think it'll be a close one. And to be fair, I just feel like London's matchups here aren't very great for them. If they win a series this weekend, I do think it'll be against Florida, though. And one thing to note, in the first 2 days, Friday today and Saturday tomorrow, London, LAG, Seattle, and New York will have all played their 2 games of the weekend, which is pretty crazy. And then it's kind of similar where Atlanta and Paris both play their games Saturday and Sunday. So, Florida's the only team that plays on Friday and Sunday. So that's interesting. A bit of a break for them where the other team, or every other team, I guess, will be warm. But nonetheless, like I said, I do think Florida will take the series against London. Continuing on, we have Boston versus LA, LAG. And the Gorillas, again, were an underwhelming team at the kickoff event. I wonder if it's going to be any different, and I had a blast watching Boston. I think this team could be a very competitive team this year, and I do think Boston wins this series. I don't think it'll be that close of a series, but ultimately I do think that Boston will win this series. So, nonetheless, we continue on to the main event of tonight. We have Seattle versus New York. And again, it'll be another good series. Of course, a rematch of, the semis, I guess, back at the kickoff event. So, very excited to see the rematch. I do think it'll be another close series. Honestly, though, I feel like New York might take it this time. It's very possible. I'm very torn between this one. This is a very tough decision for me. I really don't know. I mean, Seattle had such a great event, and I really think New York can clean some things up and they can win this series because I feel like they're a team that's going to learn. So ultimately, I do think New York will end up winning this series in 5. All right, so then we move on to Saturday, and to start things off, we have Atlanta versus Paris. I think, of course, Atlanta will win this series. I wouldn't be surprised if Paris takes a map off them, but for now, I think I'm going to do 3-0. Because, I feel like that just makes the most sense. I feel like I don't really need to talk about that one too much, and I feel like Optic will also win the series against London in pretty easy fashion. I do think it'll be 4. Again, Optic was a pretty underwhelming team at the kickoff event, and I do think that they're going to be better here this time around, so hopefully that is the case. We shall see. I do think it'll be a relatively easy series, though. Continuing on, we have the main event of the kickoff, Toronto versus Seattle. Of course, these are arguably the top 2 teams. I mean, it's definitely possible you can argue that just because of recency bias, but who knows what'll happen. I do think it'll be a pretty similar situation where Toronto wins. It'll be a decently close series, but I do think Toronto will end up pulling it out. That's the only match for Toronto this weekend, and then Seattle will be done their matches there. London will be done their matches. And continuing on to the main event Saturday, we have the LAG versus the New York Subliners. Another very interesting series, and honestly, I don't think is going to be close. I think New York is really going to mop them, to be honest. The main event 2 nights in a row for New York, and I really think it won't be a close series whatsoever. We move on to Sunday. We have Florida versus Paris to start things off. I think this could be a pretty close series, but again, I don't really think the EU teams are there yet, and I do think that both EU teams can actually make it there this year. Like, they can make something happen this year. I really do think so, especially for London. But right now, neither of those teams look too great, and I do think Florida is the better team. And I do think Florida ends up going 2-0 after this first weekend. And then a very fun series between the Thieves and FaZe. Oh man, this is so interesting. This is going to be such an awesome series to watch, and I do think it's going to go 5 games. Who do I think is going to win? Ultimately, I do think it's going to be Atlanta. I think the Thieves just aren't quite as good as FaZe. I really feel like FaZe is just... I know FaZe is a team that can get so caught up in their skill that they just aren't playing to their full capability, and if they start playing to their full capability, I think it'll be a very, very different team, and I think that's what happened last year as well. They didn't start off the season how they would have liked, I'm sure. Of course, losing a game or losing a series to the Gorillas last season to start off the season, basically. It's just not what they wanted. They lost at the kickoff event last year as well. And ultimately, I do think that they're going to rebound. I think there's just going to be too many mistakes from the Thieves side, and I think that will end up costing them the series, and Atlanta will take the series. I do think it'll be a close series, though. And then the main event for the weekend, a very close one. We have Rocker versus Optic. A very interesting series because these are two teams that were very underwhelming at the kickoff event. So who's going to take it? I mean, it could go either way, truly. From what I've seen from Optic, I do think there is some more hope for Optic than Minnesota. So I think I am going to give Texas the edge here in a 3-1 series. And of course, we have future weeks coming up. Of course, next week we get to see 2 Boston matches, 2 Minnesota matches, 2 Paris matches, 2 Toronto matches, 2 Gorillas matches. And I think that is all. 2 Thieves matches as well. So very, very interesting. Of course, we've got 3 weeks of bracket play or pool play, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll have the official major, which I'm super, super excited for. So ultimately, what are some things to look out for this weekend? The EU teams are definitely some things, or some teams, I guess, that we should be looking out for. I think they could have... It'll be very interesting to see how their weekend pans out, I think. They could either have a great weekend or a poor weekend, similar to the past few seasons, so we'll see. Nonetheless, though, I'm super, super excited to watch more of Boston. They were really fun to watch in that series against New York, so I'm super, super excited to watch them again. And of course, we have a couple of rematches here this event. Was it New York or was it the Gorillas? No, it was New York, I believe. But yeah, a couple of rematches this weekend that I'm very excited to watch. So that will be the end of today's video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. Let me know your predictions for the event, for the week, everything. Let me know in the comments down below. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.